Hey folks, Nathan here from the Star Wars Timeline Gold, Star Wars Beyond the Films, and Cloud City Casino, a Star Wars gaming podcast at StarWarsReport.com, bringing you a look at one of the newer Force and Destiny source books. This is Endless Vigil, a source book for Sentinels. This, of course, is the Force-sensitive version of the Fantasy Flight Games RPG. So keep in mind we're talking Sentinels here in terms of original trilogy era characters who lean towards the activities of Jedi Sentinels, but aren't necessarily Jedi themselves because the Order has been wiped out except for the few survivors out there that, of course, the RPG tends to just dabble in here and there. A lot more seem to have survived than anyone realized. The source book kicks off, of course, with our little story segment and whatnot, as usual, a little bit about how Sentinels fit into the galaxy at large. Then we get Chapter 1, Unseen Vigilantes. These are all your character creation things. So we have some suggestions of Sentinel backgrounds like activist, aristocrat, refugees, and so on. Specific Sentinel moralities, if you want to use those. And 3 new species introduced, or at least 3 new ones as far as Force and Destiny is concerned. The Gand, the Mun, or Mun, and the Pantorans. So, like Zuckuss, like Sandhill and his intergalactic banking clan ilk, and of course, like Chi Ekwe and the various family members of Baron Pampanoida. We've seen plenty of them. We have backgrounds, of course, for them. Then we get into our new specializations. We have the Investigator, which plays a lot, it seems, like Jax Pavin might from the Coruscant Knights books in Legends. The Racer, very much a pod racing focus in this book. And Sentry. Then we have new talents, Sentinel motivations, specific to motivations just for Sentinels here, with randomizer and injustices, which is the key element for these Sentinels and how they live their lives. Then we have some signature abilities, like My City. Think Oliver Queen in Arrow and his knowledge of Starling/Star City translated into a Force-sensitive Star Wars character, right? You have failed this city! And all that. You have unmatched vigilance. And then as far as new Force powers, we have Manipulate, which gets to a very small level of manipulation in terms of minute amounts of things. Then we have Tools of Judgment. These are going to be all of our new equipment things. So we have new weapons, armor, gear, and so on, until we finally get into what really is the meat of this section, which is pod racers and pod racing. Information on pod racing at this point in the galactic timeline, information on different types of standard and customized pod racers, how to do so, and so on. More on the modifications. Then a handful of new starships before getting into Chapter 3, Strike from the Shadows. These are all the storytelling elements here, as these books are often divided up. We have information on spending various dice rolls in urban settings, because that's where most of these stories, most Sentinel stories will take place. Suggestions on urban encounters, what to do with certain dice results in crowds, in vertical spaces, and so on and so on. Setting up contact networks, how to carry out an investigation, how to tell the story of an investigation if you're the person running the campaign. Then it gets into lightsaber hilt crafting, not just lightsaber crafting, but lightsaber hilt crafting here, even going into things like the cross-guard saber like Kylo Ren's, the odd blaster/lightsaber combo that Ezra Bridger has for at least a little bit of Rebels. How to work a Sentinel into the broader adventures of your campaigns, and the suggestions on encounters, adventures, and even a sample campaign layout for Sentinels if they're going to be the focus of your Star Wars adventures. So very much what we would expect from a typical source book for one particular type of character for Force and Destiny or any of the Fantasy Flight Games Star Wars RPGs, but given the focus on the lightsaber hilt crafting, the pod racing, and pod racers segment, this is one that stands out amongst the other ones, and me personally, I tend to like this type of character more than the other ones offered for Force and Destiny. So for someone like me, this book is a no-brainer for playing Force and Destiny. But your mileage will vary depending on how much you like the Sentinel style of character.